Hi
Hey,
there. How are ya?
good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Thanks for dealing with post-op heck. I
Oh, you're
appreciate it.
fine.
It was not fun.
Yeah, no problem. I'm glad that you're doing better enough to do this finally.
Yeah, thank you so much. I know I felt so bad every time I was like, next week I'm sure I'll feel great. I mean, it's a whole week. And
Yeah,
the day I would come and I'd be like, oh, I'm dying still. I'm just gonna send an email.
yeah,
So thank you.
yeah, no problem. So I could just jump around then with your career so far before getting to Genshin.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I know. I'll start from the beginning. You had family members that were acting or like in the entertainment industry.
So I have an aunt who's a stunt actor,
Yeah,
which I could not do stunts if my life depended on it. I tried to do on camera work for a little bit and I like did a tripping stunt and I broke my ankle. So stunts aren't in my future at all. But somehow my aunt has managed to make a 30 plus year in the stunt world uh,
wow.
through, I don't know, power, insanity, something fueling her. But yeah, so I always wanted to do something adjacent because of her. Definitely not stunts. That was not a thought. She got hurt a lot. She broke her nose a lot, so that didn't seem like the career choice for me. But it always seemed really cool that she was so involved in the entertainment industry.
Mhm. And it does look like that early on, and well, I guess most of the on-camera projects you've been part of, it's been a lot of horror.
Yeah, which is weird. To be honest, I'm not like the biggest horror fan watching. I'm a wimp. I get very scared very easily. And somehow I fell into an on-camera horror niche, which felt really ironic and weird. I was like, oh, I'm afraid of this stuff. I will say being involved in it, I'm not as terrified anymore because I know how they do a lot of stuff. So that's helped a little bit. But yeah, I don't know how I fell into horror. I don't know. Just the universe being like, oh, you're afraid of that? What if you were in it
Yeah.
exclusively?
Do you have a favorite that you've worked on?
Um, hmm. Uh, there's, this is like the only not horror one I've done. That's probably why it's my favorite. I worked on one, called Cyberpunk, and it was basically this short film where I got to be in this really cheesy 80s environment and we tried to create it like a cheesy 80s sci-fi film, and there's a part where like my head gets punched off but we threw like a cabbage as the head, like really silly stuff, and it was probably one of my favorites just because of how ridiculous it was.
Was there something that happened that made you want to focus more on voiceover opposed to on camera?
Honestly, I grew up really loving voiceover. I really thought it was cool. And then, like, when you're little, you go through this phase where you're like, well, the cartoon characters are real. They already have that job. I can't have that job. They already, Blues is already on Blues Clues. Look at her go. Like, they're, um, but as I got older and I realized it was really hard on my body doing on camera work. I still love it. I'd like to do it here and there, but to try to make a career out of it, I think would have killed me. It just was a little. I mean, I broke my ankle. I also have like chronic health issues, and it just like wasn't the best mix. And one day I worked on a set where we did about 15, 12-hour days. And that's when I was like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. So I kind of just gradually shifted into voiceover, but I'd always been in the back of my mind, oh, I'd really love to do that. That seems so fun. Oh, I wonder how I do that. But I think my health kind of forced me to be like, oh, wait, I need to figure out how to actually do that.
And this might be obvious, but
Spoiler.
is there any Los Angeles aspiration for you?
Oh yeah, no, no worries. I would like to. So I want to copy my aunt. My aunt has a home in Los Angeles and then like stays here,
Oh,
on the East Coast for a few months at a time and kind of goes back and forth when there's work. Um, I do think that's an expensive aspiration for me to want to go back and forth, but that would probably be like my ideal scenario, just so I could be around my family still, and my doctors. But hopefully that'll work out. Right now, remote's still kicking, which is good. So I think I bought myself a little bit of time to like make decisions, but someday, definitely, I think it'd be cool.
And do you work in pretty much all avenues of voiceover?
Yeah, just about. I've done radio ads. I've done, which is weird, because I can't imagine my voice on the radio. I've done commercial work. I think the only thing I haven't done is like straight narration, which my voice is very high pitched. I don't know how much narration people would want to listen to with this voice, and I take no offense to that. That is the reality. But just about all avenues, yeah.
What was your first anime dubbing experience?
My first anime dubbing experience was doing smaller bit parts in Love Live.
Yeah.
The most recent one that came out on Crunchy. And I was so nervous. It was just like a very short, like hour session, and I was shaking before it. And I was just like, I'm gonna mess up. This is gonna go horribly. But it ended up being really good, and I was really thankful I did the smaller parts first, because straight after that, I booked Spirit Chronicles for a little bit of a bigger speaking role. And I think if that was my first, I think I would have been doomed. I really needed like the experience of dubbing to the like 3 beeps they do.
Yep.
I think if I ran into it, because Spirit Chronicles, she talks a lot. So I really needed to practice first.
One vocal question I always like asking voice actresses that do boy voices, how their process is for that, because I found that it's different with everybody.
Yeah. My process will probably be the silliest of all. My boy voice came from loving Ash Ketchum as a child, and wanting to do an Ash impression, but it never was quite good enough to be Ash, so it became its own boy voice. That's kind of like where that voice came from, and it's really easy to tap into because I always hold that Veronica Taylor Ash Ketchum voice like in my heart, because that was one of my favorites as a kid. Other than that, it's just thinking about being raspy for like characters to voice. Those are always the funnest. So it's just that little like, hey guys, let's go, yeah. But see, it's like a bad Ash Ketchum. That's where it comes from. But every bad impression can be a good voice.
Right. What about the case so far where you've had to alter your voice the most significantly for anything?
This sounds so silly. Believe it or not, I think the times I have to alter my voice the most is for characters that are like genuinely adults. I am an adult. I'm in my mid-20s. But I sound like this. So every once in a while, there's one that's I can't quite talk about yet, but the character is my age, and I had to kind of go from here to, hey guys, what's up? And it's not even that different, but for me it is, because I don't sound like this at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because I walked in like, hey guys, let's go. And they're like, oh, we hired you? I'm like, yeah, you did. You hired me. I won't sound like this at the job, I promise. But it definitely feels like the lower, more mature voices are more of a stretch for me than even the boys, which is, I don't know, but that's definitely usually where I differ the most.
Okay. And one of my signature questions is also, I don't know if you've gotten to do this with voiceover yet, but one of my signature questions is always asking what the darkest headspace you've had to go for voiceover is.
Honestly, a lot of Collei stuff, because she's been through so much.
Mm-hmm.
My experience semi-relates to Collei. I was never experimented on, thank goodness, but I do have medical trauma from being a sick kid, and those experiences really stay with you. So a lot of her lines where she's talking about her past, I would try to bring some of my own past into it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's never quite fun to think of all the medical trauma you've been through. It's probably a pretty dark headspace, but I think it really made it so I wasn't necessarily acting for those lines. And I always feel like if you can relate to it without obviously driving yourself mad from trying to, I think that it ends up sounding a lot better.
Right.
So that's probably the most intense. Otherwise, I'm usually just small children that have no cares in the world.
So, of course, with Genshin, you and Elliot are the first playable characters that aren't cast members based in LA. So was that kind of a general audition when it came through in your inbox, or was it like a special story?
So honestly, I didn't know it was Genshin that I was auditioning for. I had absolutely no idea. I kind of thought it was, but that was like a gut feeling. I was like, oh, maybe this is Genshin, but there was nothing to actually tell me that besides for like, oh, I hope it's Genshin. And they didn't specify in person preferred more than remote, so I wasn't really sure what studio or anything, because certain studios like you to be in person, but they'll suck it up if you have to be remote.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely didn't realize it was Genshin at all. I auditioned. I thought the character looked cute based on like the very old art that they attached, and almost didn't audition because I had a kidney stone.
Oh.
And I thought, oh, well, if this is Genshin, I'll be so sad. I'm just gonna take pain medicine and hope that I sound okay enough to do it. And I booked it, so good luck, I guess. I don't know what happened.
So outside of what you've already said, can you relate to her in pretty much every aspect?
I think so, honestly. I think that Collei is someone who has been through a lot, but is trying really hard to be positive and kind of like change their outlook. I definitely went through like the Collei's phase was more justified than mine, but like the over dramatic way of talking phase that she goes through in the manga. I was just a brat and like 16 and mad at the world she was, experimented on. But I definitely feel like I can relate to that, and definitely the Elazar and the health issues, all that really is something that struck home with me, and I am at least just as awkward as Collei, if not more awkward. So yeah, I relate a lot.
And was there even any, because I mean, obviously it sounds like it's pretty close to your natural voice. So was there any difficulty developing that with her voice or no?
No, it wasn't too bad. A lot of the times, where she's like imitating Amber, they had kind of told me to like pitch it up a little bit to be a little bit more cheery. Otherwise, I think her more low key lines kind of fall into where my voice sits pretty easily. I definitely lucked out. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't have to change my voice too much other than like be more perky sometimes. Wow, like it wasn't anything bananas for this one. And very often, if I do get cast and stuff, it's either lower your voice a ton or can you make it supersonic. It's never really like my regular voice tone. This is probably the first that I just got to mostly just talk, besides for, Forest Ranger Collei, and I'm way up here now because I'm Amber and I love her. Beyond that, it was mostly my voice, yeah.
And on that topic, what are your favorite character interactions that she has with other characters?
I really like when she basically imitates Paimon to the Traveler. That was probably one of my favorite things to record because it was so silly. But I thought that interaction, until it was not wholesome, was quite wholesome. I also really like her kind of vibe with Tainari. I feel like she really respects him. He's probably like her second friend ever, is what the vibe I got from it. And I think it's really sweet to see how he generally cares about her and talks to the Traveler about her health and is like, hey, she's not doing that great. I'm watching over her. You can tell he really cares about her as a person, and I think that's probably like Collei's second or third friend ever. So I really like their interactions. And I really like that she almost immediately decides the Traveler is her friend. I think that that's really endearing. She's basically like, well, I already have 2 friends. I can have 3. I can do this. I can make friends. Hey, Traveler, it's me, Collei. So those are some of my favorite interactions, definitely. Hopefully she'll have more interactions with other people, though.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts, at least on what we know so far about her relationship with Kusanali, the Archon?
I think that it'll be interesting to see what develops, because Collei has had this transformation of distrusting like the Archons, basically, to finally being like, oh, well, now I have a vision. Maybe they're not that bad. And I know she has a voice line of like about how, well, maybe they're suffering too, just like how I did. So I think if anybody's going to be empathetic, it's going to be Collei with the situation going on. So I'm very interested to see if she's even involved, because I don't know.
Okay.
But hopefully she is. It seems like she's very understanding, and I think if anybody would, yeah, I guess empathize with the struggle that's going on, I think it would be Collei. But I know nothing. I wish I did. That'd be so cool. I wish I knew stuff in advance.
Yeah.
Nobody tells me anything. That's fine.
I'm sure you've seen all the fan art too of interactions with her and Sinnoh.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, I love them. I love fan art. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm curious. I'm really excited to see what the game does with the characters that Collei already knows.
Yeah.
That's what I'm really looking forward to hopefully happening, which again, I don't know, which I wish I did, but I'm hoping that there are ties-ins to the manga because it's so endearing, and those are the people that like she first liked ever. So let them hang out. Please.
Do you have a single favorite voice line?
There is a voice line where one of the Ascension lines where she says, like, I think I finally become like a better person or something, or I'm finally better. I really like that. I think that's really sums up Collei's like real struggle to try to accept her past. And I think it's really cute that it comes as an ascension as she starts to like grow as a person level wise. I also am such a sucker for like the Forest Ranger Collei reporting for duty. I love that it copies Amber's Outrider Amber. I think it's literally such a cute throwback to their friendship.
Mm-hmm.
I love how much she likes Amber. I think it's so cute.
And were you already playing the game before?
No, so I read the manga before getting cast, like way back 2 years ago. I read the manga, loved it, absolutely was like, this is the best, cool. And then the game came out, and I thought, oh well, if I like the game, I will never get to audition for it because that's my luck. I will never get in it. I just know it. So I avoided the game, but read like all the lore behind the game constantly. So I felt like I was playing it. And then once I got cast, I played it, and as I suspected, I loved the game immediately within like the first 5 seconds of playing it. But I was just so afraid, I don't know, that I'd be too nervous if I liked it enough, or it was a really weird superstition thing. There's just some stuff that I'm like, I like this too much, I have to avoid it, or I will never get to be in it. And that was one of them for me.
Yeah. Do you have a...
So now I'm playing catch up.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite region and like other favorite playable characters?
So I am just at the very end of Liyue now. I really enjoyed that region. That region feels really alive. They really bring the NPCs to be more interactive to me. I feel like I can imagine this city really well. Mondstadt has a really close place in my heart because you start there. And I think the manga may have influenced me a little bit, but I really love Venti. I think Venti is really cool. I really like how silly he is compared to the manga, because I feel like I think he's only in a couple chapters, but he seemed very serious in the manga. So it was cool to be like, oh, he's let loose, kinda. And it's not so intense. And I love Amber too. Unlike Collei, she is so inviting and fun, and I think that was like the perfect character to greet you into the game.
Mm-hmm. Which other playable characters do you hope that she would interact with from like other regions or in general? Yeah.
Other regions? Oh, that's tough. I would love to see her interact with Fischl because of her voice line. I think that would be really funny because that voice line is very like, okay, interesting person. I think that would be super fun. I would really like to see her. I'd like to see her interact with Venti because they were in the manga together but never really interacted. And I think that if Collei was going to need to forgive someone for herself, I feel like it would be Venti because he was one of the Archons at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it would be interesting to see how she's grown from that experience.
Yep.
I think those would be my top two. But I just want her to meet everybody, and I want her to have tons of friends because she deserves friends, and she does not have friends right now. She needs more than like 2 or 3.
These aren't questions; they were just other people in the Collei sub that were just saying that how they feel really represented that you're the voice because of the other medical conditions that they have.
Oh, that means so much to me. That's gonna make me cry. Thank you. No, that means a lot to me. I always was hoping that if I did succeed in acting or voice acting, I would get to kind of represent people, because it's really hard as somebody who is disabled to get into any like creative field. It's a lot of whether your body lets you do it or not, really, is what it comes down to. And I think that it's hard to find career fields that are flexible enough to really like let you try. So I've been so grateful that Genshin has been so understanding of my health issues. So that means a lot to me.
And don't you also still actively make your own soaps and things like that?
I do, yes. I run a company called CC's Essentials, because I wasn't creative with the name at all. It was just my initials. But that's fine. And I went to school originally for aromatherapy and herbal medicine, and now I'm finishing for nutrition. But with those other degrees, I was like, oh, well, I can make body care products and like make them organic and kind of like know what the ingredients do for your skin. So I kind of took that. I do soaps, bath bombs, body stuff, other things, muscle rubs, all that kind of stuff. I know words. I talk for a living. Okay.
I couldn't find it anymore, but you had a band for a while, like you were a lead singer.
Oh yeah. So that was something just for fun, which is kind of why it's not up places right now. We're working on a song. It's my boyfriend and I who is in his own band and has almost always been in another band. I thought it'd be fun to do the opposite vibe. He's always been in kind of like hardcore bands or like a really cinematic instrumental band now. So I was like, what if we did like acoustic acoustic music? Let's do like the total other vibe. So every once in a while we work on music. I think it's just our schedules are so busy with other stuff, but we have been working on a song. I will post it someday. It will be out in the world eventually, hopefully within this year, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. So, yeah, that's me.
I would also take it that are you starting to become close with the other Genshin cast members at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really lucky. I kind of knew some of the cast members already. I was friends with Risa May before. We've been friends for the last year or so. So it's been nice to kind of have somebody that already went through all the crazy bananas and like knows what to expect, so can tell me if things are normal or not.
Yeah.
That's been my saving grace, I think. And something about me, which I think people could probably tell from the internet, I love talking. I love talking to people. So I love making new friends and with castmates. So I'm hoping eventually I will be friends with everybody. That's my goal. Very normal, healthy goal.
Yeah. So one thing I always do with Genshin cast member interviews, I ask them to do Zhang Li's Osmanthus wine line as their character.
Ooh.
I can say it if you don't.
Yeah, I don't know what line. Yeah, sorry. Can you? I'm sorry. I'm still post-op. I'm going to be very honest to the audience right now, and I'm still on post-op medicine. I'm sorry. I have one brain cell.
It's Osmanthus wine is as good as I remember, but where are those who share the memories?
Oh gosh, how am I going to remember that longer than a second?
I can type it.
Please do. I'm so sorry, everybody watching. Hi. Pain medicine, when legally prescribed, is very helpful, but it makes you very dumb. Osmanthus wines taste as good as I remember. But where are those who share the memories?
For real.
I made it super sad, sorry.
Oh, you're okay.
As Collei would. Let's be, I'm sorry. Thank you for typing that.
Yeah, no problem. So is there anything that you want to say to the Collei sub?
Thank you so much for either liking me or tolerating me, depending on the individual, I'm sure. I've really appreciated the support. It means the world to me. And for those who kind of said, like, it makes them feel represented and stuff, that means absolutely everything to me, genuinely. Like I said, always wanted to try to be someone that could represent being disabled in the industry. So to be viewed as it is amazing. And for everybody that is trying to main Collei, me too. And I peek on the Collei subreddit a lot, actually, to check on your builds, because I don't know what I'm doing. So please keep posting your builds so I can copy you as I try to make Collei a main DPS. Because I have to. It's like really important to me.
Yeah.
So keep posting your builds. Thank you. I'm too nosy. I don't know. Well, because those are people that are maining Collei. So I was like, all right, well, I'm going to creep, because I'm sure you guys are sharing what you're doing for the character to make them good, and I don't know what I'm doing. I just finally figured out artifacts a little bit more, so my Collei's a little bit better than she once was. And I notice sometimes people post where the mushrooms are, and very helpful. Keep posting hints. They're for me. Thank you.
So is there anything else that's upcoming you're part of you can safely talk about? Or
Oh gosh, I think all my stuff is. Oh wait, no, there is one thing that's not in NDA land. I am a part of a very, very silly game called Unichrome. It is marketed as a 1-bit adventure. The game is hilarious, and I play the main villain. They're all unicorns. Well, the 2 characters are unicorns. That's not other characters or other animals. But her name is Century. She is a mix of Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls with Harley Quinn. I like to say sugar, spice, and everything insane. She's just off the walls. It's the first role I got to, like, swear in. She's not very nice, but very sassy about it, so it's really funny. It is the big bad of the game. The game is pretty neat. My character stole all the color in the land, because why not? Because she's a jerk. And you fight through as another unicorn with a rainbow gun, trying to add color to the world while beating up the bad guys. It is chaotic as heck. It's out September 16th on Nintendo Switch, PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, I think? Okay. I'm pretty sure. I'm confident in Nintendo Switch or PlayStation and Xbox. I'm pretty sure it's on Steam. But that's the most current thing I have going on right now, and it's fun. It's gonna be a game I think people are gonna try to speed run. That's what I feel. I think it's gonna be like a speedrunner's dream.
Yeah.
And then, I'm in it.
Well, my final question then is always asking, what do you want your legacy to be?
I would like my legacy, honestly, to be, I think, being good representation for people. I think that I would like to be remembered as somebody that, despite being, disabled and having health struggles, was able to make a name for themselves in the voiceover industry and was able to champion remote recording for those of us who are disabled. And I'm hoping that I can be a part of a much needed change where it becomes a little bit more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
That would be that's a really long legacy, but that's my legacy.
Well, thank you.
Of course.
I'm glad we finally got through this.
Yeah, me too. Thank you so much. I literally, every time, I didn't estimate how long I would feel unwell for, at all. I just kind of...
That's fine, yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, well, I hope you have a good rest of your day, then I'll be sure to send this to you once I have it up.
Awesome, thanks so much. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.
Bye.